Morning, Monday, June 2nd. Very productive day yesterday with my girlfriend over, and she ironed a lot of clothes that needed ironing, and she took a lot home that needed stain treatment. And she took like some long sleeve dress shirts home because she wanted to use a different iron. She wanted to use her iron to iron those. She felt like she could do a much better job, but she was very helpful, and I loved doing that with her. And we got about 30 items inventoried with the new inventory system I'm doing. Running a little bit late this morning, so I'll show you guys the bin and how we're doing it a little bit later. So let's get this started. All right, we had 3 sales over the weekend. This is a vintage trucker hat, like a muscle car trucker hat. I'll put it up on the screen as I'm talking about it. This is just a plain blank vintage t-shirt. I believe it's like a Jersey's vintage t-shirt that's sold for $14.99. And this is a late 90s, early 2000 polo by Ralph Lauren striped polo shirt, right? And I think it sold for $20 plus shipping. So there you go. Those are my 3 sales. Can't wait till I'm doing at least 3 of these, or way more than these a day. But the next goal is the 3 over a weekend. I need to do 3 a day. That's the next goal. I'm deciding to skip the post office this morning. So this is exactly why I have 2-day shipping. I left my house at 7:44, and that's the latest I've left my house in a long time. So I have like a 7-minute grace period for being at work at 8:30. That still gives me enough time to get to work, but I don't need to stop anywhere else. Downfall of reselling part-time. So this wouldn't be an issue if I was reselling full-time, so. Oh well, gotta do what I gotta do. If they get scanned by June 3rd, then I'm still good. So yeah, but hey, I can't drop it off today. I like to get things scanned within 24 hours if I can. Probably should have done it yesterday. So I made really good time for work. Looks like I probably could have gone to the post office anyway. I want to make sure, I can't risk getting in trouble at this job while I'm doing what I'm trying to do. So I have to focus on what I need to do at work here, and then I'm going home tonight, and I should be able to get a decent amount done. The goal is to get new listings up this week, right? So I got a comment over the weekend from John. John, thanks for watching the vlogs and participating and engaging. John, in a nutshell, I don't have it in front of me, asked, do you like selling clothing? And he also suggested it in a way to, it's easier and it doesn't feel as tedious if you sell things you're passionate about, sell things that you like, because it becomes more fun. And I get that. I really do. And so honestly, if I were to help somebody right now, like start reselling online, somebody that wanted to resell and start a resale business or make money on the side, I would suggest, hey, what are you passionate about? Are you passionate about collectibles, comic books, sport cards, video games? Do you like model trains, stuff like that? I would highly suggest possibly looking into reselling things like that first, because not only can you make money doing that, it can also pay for your hobby, right? So like I do clothes. I have so many clothes, or have had in the past, that I've gotten from thrift stores when I'm out, and it kind of pays for itself, right? That's probably one of the ways I would suggest somebody start reselling if they wanted to start. But my journey, I actually saw a friend one time who was reselling some old concert and band t-shirts he had gotten from the 90s that he could no longer wear. And I was seeing the money that he was getting for these things, and I was like, wow. And I was in a position where I was like, I could really use some extra money. So I said, this would be a good side hustle. And I was really passionate about sports. I really love sports. So I was like, you know what? I want to go out and find a bunch of sports attire, team names, college team names, whatever, and resell that stuff. So I did. So I went out and I bought all clothing that was related to any kind of sports. That's how it started. And then it evolved into casual wear. And then it evolved into vintage. And then I started selling just vintage for the longest time. And it also evolved into vintage video games. I'm a gamer. I love playing video games, so it turned into vintage video games. And then at that point, I kind of started to venture out and seeing what else can you sell? Where can I find a deal, right? But getting back into it, I think I just want to stick to this niche of clothing and then slowly move into other areas, right? I studied men's fashion and vintage clothing for so long. It's kind of what I know. I wouldn't say I'm passionate, like overly passionate about clothing and vintage clothing, but I will say the process of finding a good piece of clothes or finding a good shirt or a good pair of pants, buying it low and selling it to somebody who would normally pay $80 for a shirt, selling it to somebody for $25, being that middleman is something I became passionate about when it came to clothes. Because not everybody wants to go out and spend $80, $90 for brand new clothes, but they still want to buy nice clothes, right? I feel like I'm doing a good service. I feel like I'm actually doing a good service. And so yeah, getting back into this, it's now not just vintage as you've seen, because I turned my business name from Blue City Vintage to Blue City Resale, which opens up the door to resell whatever I want to resell. And so I am getting back into casual men's clothing rather than just vintage, and because that's what I know. And that's how I'm expanding here in the beginning. Now, if I expand into something else other than clothing, the first thing I'd probably do is vintage video games, because I am a gamer and I grew up playing ColecoVision, Nintendo, and from Nintendo it went to Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, you know, all the way up to, I've had every PlayStation 1, all the way to I have PlayStation 5 now, and I do PC gaming. If I integrated something else with clothing, along with clothing, the first thing I would do would probably be vintage video games. And I do some coffee mugs as well. Like you've seen me talk about coffee mugs, there's very high turnover. There's a very high return on your investment for coffee mugs if you find the right ones. The only problem with coffee mugs is storing them. They can be a pain to store if you buy too many. And then the next thing after that, I used to love collecting sports cards. I even looked into collecting sports cards again in 2024, and I eventually just said, you know, this is going to be a lot of work. I was spending too much money on sports cards. And so I would like to get into a position to where, like, and I probably wouldn't do sports cards unless I do go full time, because I have a lot of sports cards, and the things that I want to collect, I'm going to get rid of everything that, like, I don't personally want to collect, right? And I have things in my head and a list of things that I would like to collect when it comes to sports cards. Hopefully selling everything around that will pay for that, and also hopefully in turn start making a little bit of money doing that as well. So yeah, John, thanks for the comment. And I did answer him in the comments, and I said I was going to touch on this a little bit deeper in a future vlog. So here it is. And that just brings up, if anybody else wants to have a discussion during my vlog, you got a question for the comments or anything, feel free to ask them and we'll talk about them. But yeah, I got about 7 minutes before I have to clock in now, so I'm just gonna listen to a little bit more of this podcast and then get the day started. Talk to you guys in a bit. It's Monday night and I've been listing all night. I had to edit some pictures and then get listings up. I think I got like 10 listings up tonight, but it took a while to edit the photos. But tomorrow I can just get the rest of the listings up. It shouldn't take any time. Right now I am packing up an order. Something sold today. Let me show you what it is. All right, I've already wrapped it in this before I showed you guys. I forgot to show you before I wrapped it in here, but it's already wrapped in there. This is the Elder Scrolls 2, the Daggerfall, the original box for PC. And it is in mint condition. This is one of the games or the boxes that my friend gave me. He gave me a bunch of stuff to sell for him, and this is just one of the boxes. This box, it's sold. Here it is right here. It's sold for $93.75 plus $9.75 shipping for a total of $103.50. There you go. We got an 89.03 net return on this. There's no overhead on this. There's no cost of goods. I get 10% of this sale because I'm selling it for my friend. So that is without the shipping. though. I'm about to pay for the label to ship this thing. So this is really cool. This box alone with more of the inserts was going for about $125. So I was trying to sell this one for $125, and it very quickly got like 7 watchers within like a week. So what I did last night before I went to bed is I sent all the watchers a 25% off deal for this, and somebody purchased it around lunchtime today. So that is how that's sold. So that is going to a nice collector, someone who likes the Elder Scrolls. I love the Elder Scrolls as well, actually. So same franchise that did Oblivion and Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls Online, which is a game that I play quite a bit. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. I don't really know how these vlogs are gonna go from here on out. I just know what I'm doing is kind of too much, and it's kind of hard to keep up with everything and get everything out within a reasonable time, right? So I may start combining days and put out like 2 vlogs a week or something. I think that's a little bit more manageable, but and I may have already started doing that at the point that this one comes out, so who knows? Because they're so far behind. But anyway, I'm gonna get this out and then I'm gonna go to bed, get ready for another day of work tomorrow.